I was appointed as DGP. The ink had dried on my charge sheet when I was told about Hazratbal, that it is in difficult circumstances that militants have taken over the Hazratbal. You know, I had the advantage because I had been SSP Jammu and also DIG Kashmir. So I knew every part of Hazratbal, including its topography. I used to attend Muslim Awqaf Front meetings. This Hazratbal is the biggest politico-religious center of Kashmir. And when the Prophet's hair is there, and that is most revered. But since it is the biggest, it has the biggest following in Kashmir, and no other institution mattered more than this, especially in Mr. Sheikh Abdullah's time, who did so much to take it to that, and that was his following also. After 1963, Muhe Muqaddas, as they call it, Muhe Muqaddas was stolen at that time, and there was almost a emotional upheaval in that place. And then when Mr. Shastri was deputed by Mr. Nehru to tackle it, ultimately it got resolved because of intervention of local religious leaders and others. So since then we had kept a guard, both uniform guard outside and plainclothes men inside the garden. They were all Muslim employees, so they knew the area, language and everything. So as soon as these fellows entered that, they headed towards that Muhe Muqaddas. They dislodged our fellows with guns and looted their guns, but they went inside, and later on we were proud of those civil fellows. They were able to hold on to the place where the Muhe Muqaddas is kept at first story, and they said that if you do that, you know, Khuda ka कहर आ जाएगा आपके यहाँ. So we got time. We got to know that they have not yet disturbed the Muhe Muqaddas. And then we had the two things. BSF first and the army later had laid the siege. This time it had happened after the Babri Masjid demolition, which had disturbed people in that area, and also the Blue Star, wherein both the places, the forces were found helpless when they entered the, and the shrines were damaged. So we thought that that will be, if Hazratbal was to be destroyed, when we made a entry into that, because the whole of it had been vacated, it was taken over by the these militants, including their sentries on the minarets. We established a contact with them. Now, every time we made a contact, they demanded that, you can allow us to leave with us with our arms. We won't destroy the Muhe Muqaddas, but we won't leave this place without any of those concessions. We also wanted to buy time with them, because we said that without supplies, without sanitary conditions for such people, without cleaning, Now it would not be possible for them. So we wanted that this encirclement should go on, and we would even try to sort of made them to come to their knees, because the food supplies were also getting exhausted. But that was actually in a way rectified by the Supreme Court of India on the this petition of Hurriyat Conference. Now Hurriyat Conference was a conglomeration of various parties, including Jamaat Islami and all them. And when Dr. Farooq Abdullah left before this, he had left in 1990, the whole political religious scene was handed over to these fellows. There was no local this thing for us to bank on. And these fellows were all supporting the terrorists, obviously. So we could not do that. So on the one side, we had to deal with law and order created by these fellows in Hurriyat. And on the other side, we had to ensure that, the militants got to terms with reasonable terms and all that. So thereafter, we had it for 32 days. We had to provide them food, so we established contact with them. Our fellows used to go inside and then come, and we got a full, connect of the whole shrine. So thereafter, they continued to be transited, but ultimately they had to give in, because we never agreed to their going away with arms. And anybody who was intervening, including the chief secretary of that place, they would say that, including the chief secretary, Mr. Sheikh Ghulam Rasool, who had very good local connections, that you would have to allow them to go away with arms, which we were not prepared. Under the governor's rule of General Rao, we had decided that this will not happen. So ultimately they got exhausted, and our intelligence agencies like IB's, RAW and others, they also had a contact and all. And then thereafter, after 32 days, they sort of agreed to surrender without arms, but they should be safely, left. The catch was which time to happen and how the procedure was there to be organized. So then we recce'd the areas and all, and after 32 days, we decided that 11 o'clock they will surrender. 11. And on the other side, the army had taken up positions with General Padmanabhan, who was the corps commander, and on this side we were there. So they would be searched by the army, and army had set up night vision devices. That was a surprise to them later, because that setup that they had really, Kashmiris would never believe that they would surrender like that, nor would Pakistan. So, because they were supposed to be mujahids. And what happened was that they used to come one by one and all that, and they were filmed. And so after they were filmed, they were taken in another area, Zakura, where the army and other forces would question them, and thereafter the agreement was that we will leave them after getting all those details which were needed by the security and intelligence agencies for future control. When I reached my home, my wife was waiting to see at 4 o'clock in a wintry night. So I picked up my Rax phone. Rax phone was a secret one between all the senior functionaries, including direct line to the governor. So when I rang up the governor to inform him, he took it on the first ring and he says, yes, tell me. I said, greetings to you, sir. They have surrendered and these are the facts of the surrender and all that. He says, any problem after that? I said, no problems. They are being resolved by the people who are there. I was told that Mr. General Rao immediately rang up Mr. Narasimha Rao, and it was such a relief in Delhi also. I picked up a phone and rang up Ajit Singh, who was a known fellow to me because he was the Doordarshan correspondent and also the AIR correspondent in those days. So I woke him up and he wouldn't believe. He says, yes, sir, because every day since I used to address foreign and Indian correspondents about the situation. So when I rang up Mr. Ajit Singh, I used a colloquial expression of northern India, ki jago Mohan pyare jago. So he said, what, sir? I said, they have surrendered and I want to give you this thing and you can release it in the 8 o'clock news. Many of the locals would question. When all that was resolved, Kashmiris were quite disillusioned with that. And thereafter, Pakistan was very worried because after this, they introduced the Hizbul Mujahideen, which is the, Askari wing, as they call it. That is the, the militant wing of Jamaat Islami. So after the Hazratbal Shrine, it had changed a little bit. We started getting informations and all that, but not fully, because even Hazratbal, when it was, bifurcated, and their militant wing was directed by Pakistan to again take over, they went into that area for 4 or 5 days. They were troubling people. They were getting money, supplies, and everything, and then keeping them under control. There was an encounter also with a policeman when the locals gave that information about these fellows, in which persons from both sides lost their lives. These fellows used to, still go on the fringes, and they were planning to take over again. So they were holding a meeting. Now this was a information of very reliable source of J&K Police, that they are actually planning to do that, and they are encased in a house which was marked earlier also. So they are having that, all of them, their militant wing, which is to again take over this Hazratbal, will be holding a meeting, is holding a meeting. So this time it was different. We didn't use the army or BSF, we used the CRP as a backup force, but mainly JK Police had to organize this operation, and our competent head of special operation group, Mr. Farooq Khan, he went after night and we challenged them. This time we were fully armed. Earlier, Hazratbal, they were just guns, small guns which were overpowered and all that. This time J&K Police was well organized, and this time when they challenged them, they started firing from this thing. They were loudspeakers used that you surrender or whatever. They refused to and starting. So in the this thing, since we were better placed in that, so the operation was very successful, and the whole building was completely gutted because we used a mortar also. Then what happened was that all of them were killed in that. So this was a requirement. Now this also made it very facilitating for any of the political parties, including NC and all that, because Hazratbal got escaped from the third takeover of this thing. And since by this time we had known how to deal with terrorists, this was J&K Police has reorganized itself, and that no terrorism can be fought alone by central forces or central agents. Actually, law and order is a state subject, and militancy or terrorism is an aggravated form of law and order. And J&K Police's involvement was important, and this proved the way that they were up to their mark and even more.